Okay, let's dive right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're looking at this really intense story out of Meghalaya, a place known for beauty, right?
Yeah.
Misty hills, waterfalls.
The abode of clouds. Sounds idyllic.
Exactly. Like the perfect honeymoon spot. But this story, it takes such a dark turn.
It really does. A honeymoon that started with romance, apparently, and ended in, well, a chilling murder case that grabbed national headlines.
So our mission here is to really unpack this Meghalaya honeymoon murder case, look at the details, the people involved, and these really conflicting stories we've seen in the material.
Definitely. Trying to make sense of the twists and turns.
At the heart of it, we have this young couple, Raja Raghuvanshi. He was a 29-year-old businessman from Indore.
And Sonam Raghuvanshi, she was 24.
Their marriage was arranged, which is, common. They got married back on May 11th, 2025 in Indore. A big celebration, presumably.
A new start. And then the honeymoon planning. Interestingly, they didn't initially settle on Meghalaya.
Oh, where were they thinking first?
The sources mentioned Kashmir was the first idea. More traditional, perhaps.
Right. But they switched.
Yeah, they shifted focus to Meghalaya, maybe wanting something a bit different, drawn by those landscapes we mentioned.
Okay, so the trip itself, they flew out of Indore on May 20th.
Right, via Bengaluru, heading to Guwahati in Assam.
And they didn't go straight to Meghalaya.
No, they spent a day, May 21st, visiting the Kamakya temple in Assam, maybe seeking blessings for the marriage.
Makes sense. Then, May 22nd, they arrive in Shillong, Meghalaya's capital.
And they rented a scooter to get around, explore. Seems pretty normal, a young couple enjoying their first days together.
Until May 23rd. That seems to be the day everything changed.
Absolutely critical date. They were known to be in the Sora area, that's the place formerly called Cherrapunji, famous for its rain and waterfalls.
Specifically near Wei Sawdong Falls.
Yes, that's the last place they were reportedly seen together. It's a stunning spot, these tiered falls going down into a deep gorge. They were supposed to be sightseeing.
But they weren't seen again after that.
Yep. No, they just vanished. The only thing found initially was their rented scooter.
Where was that?
Abandoned at a cafe on the main road between Shillong and Sora. Just left there.
That must have immediately raised alarms.
You bet. Back in Indore, panic set in when the families couldn't reach them, calls unanswered.
So the families rushed there.
By May 24th, yeah, both families were in Meghalaya, and that launched this massive search.
What did that involve?
Huge effort. Meghalaya Police, the SDRF, that's the State Disaster Response Force, the NDRF, the national one, they even brought in drones to cover the tough terrain. It sounds like the whole state machinery got involved.
Then I imagine the media picked up on this disappearance quickly.
Oh, absolutely. While they were missing, speculation was running wild. Accident, kidnapping, something else. Social media was buzzing with theories.
That period of not knowing must have been agonizing.
Unimaginable. Then finally a breakthrough, but a grim one. June 2nd.
What happened?
A police drone, one of those searching the area, spotted something down in that deep gorge below Wei Sawdong Falls. Yes. It was later identified as Raja Raghuvanshi.
And the cause of death wasn't an accident, was it?
No, not at all. The autopsy revealed fatal head injuries, described as sharp wounds consistent with a machete attack. It was clearly murder.
A machete. Did they find a weapon?
They did. Near the body, they recovered a blood-stained machete, sometimes called a dao, a local tool, and also a raincoat, also blood-stained.
Okay, so Raja was murdered, but Sonam was still missing at this point.
Exactly. That was the huge question. Was she also a victim, perhaps lying injured somewhere else, or had she met the same fate? Yeah. Or was it something different altogether? The mystery deepened.
And then the story takes another completely unexpected twist.
A massive one. June 9th. Sonam Raghuvanshi reappears.
Not in Meghalaya, though.
No, hundreds of miles away. In Ghazipur, Uttar Pradesh, she apparently showed up at a roadside eatery, a dhaba, and then walked into the Nanganj police station and surrendered.
What was her initial story?
Her claim was that she was a victim herself. She told the UP police she'd been abducted, drugged, and somehow ended up there.
But the Meghalaya police didn't believe her version.
Not for a second, based on the reports. They had been investigating Raja's murder, remember? They swiftly named Sonam as the prime suspect.
Prime suspect. What was their allegation?
Explosive stuff. They alleged she wasn't abducted at all, but had actually orchestrated her husband's murder.
Wow. Orchestrated it? How?
They alleged she did it with hired help. And soon after, arrests started happening.
Who else was arrested?
4 other men, Akash Rajput, Vishal Singh Chauhan, Anand, And another key figure, a 21-year-old named Raj Singh Kushwaha.
Raj Singh Kushwaha. Why was he key?
Well, police alleged he was Sonam's lover. This brought in the whole alleged love triangle angle.
A lover. Was there a connection beyond that?
Yes, according to the police theory, Kushwaha worked at Sonam's family's mica factory back home. They allege he wasn't just the lover, but the co-planner, the handler who helped Sonam set the whole thing up.
Set it up. So the police believe this was pre-planned.
Meticulously planned is the allegation, and chillingly, they suggest the planning started just days after the wedding.
Days. While they were still newlyweds.
That's the police narrative. That Sonam and Raj Kushwaha allegedly began plotting the murder almost immediately after the marriage ceremony.
That's incredibly cold, if true. What's the police version of what happened on May 23rd itself, near the falls?
Their theory is that Sonam deliberately lured Raja to a deserted spot on the road near Wei Sawdong Falls.
Lured him there. Why that spot?
Because, police allege, the other three men, Akash, Vishal, and Anand, were already there, hiding, waiting in ambush.
An ambush?
Yes. The police account is that these three attacked Raja with the machete, inflicted those fatal head wounds, and then threw his body into the gorge, possibly to make it look like an accidental fall.
And Sonam's role in the immediate aftermath, according to police.
They claim she fled the scene with the alleged killers, that they all went to Guwahati together, stayed there for a day, maybe to lay low initially.
And then split up.
Exactly. Went their separate ways to try and avoid detection. It sounds, as you said, like something straight out of a crime thriller.
Do the police have evidence to back up this version? It's a huge accusation against Sonam.
They claim they do. One really crucial piece mentioned is the testimony of a local tourist guide.
Oh, yeah. What did the guide say?
A guide named Albert Prude reportedly told police that on May 23rd, near the falls, he saw Raja and Sonam, and importantly, they were with three other men who were speaking Hindi.
3 Hindi-speaking men. That seems to directly fit the police narrative of hired killers.
It certainly seems to corroborate their theories strongly, and police say that's not all.
What else?
They mention having CCTV footage from various points, tracking movements, mobile phone records analysis, mapping out where people were, and other witness statements that they believe collectively build their case against Sonam and the others.
Okay, so there's the alleged love affair as a motive. But was there anything else?
Yes, a potential financial angle emerged as well. This came from Raj's mother.
What does she claim?
She told investigators that Sonam had specifically insisted Raja wear quite a bit of gold jewelry for the honeymoon, a ring, a neck chain, apparently worth around 10 lakh rupees.
10 lakhs. That's a significant amount.
It is. And crucially, Raja's mother stated and police reportedly confirmed that this gold jewelry was missing from his body when it was found.
Missing gold.
Mm.
So police are thinking maybe robbery was part of it, or the primary motive.
It's definitely something they're considering strongly. Was it the affair? Was it the money? Or perhaps a combination, a plot driven by both escaping the marriage and financial gain? That's a core question for the investigation.
Right. Now, we absolutely have to look at Sonam's side of this. Her story is completely different.
Utterly different. She has consistently maintained her innocence. Her account is that she was the one who was attacked, abducted, drugged, and left stranded far away. A victim, not a perpetrator.
And her family. Do they support her version?
Vehemently. They've publicly backed her, going so far as to accuse the Meghalaya police of potentially framing her. Her father called the allegations baseless.
Have others who know her spoken out?
Yes, some neighbors back in Indore were quoted describing her as a sweet girl, expressing shock and disbelief that she could be involved in something like this. It paints a very different picture.
So, 2 completely opposing narratives. Victim versus alleged mastermind.
Exactly. But the Meghalaya police seem very confident. The state's DGP, the Director General of Police, publicly stated they have substantial evidence against her.
Have they mentioned specifics beyond the guide and the circumstantial evidence?
They've alluded to alleged confessions from the other men arrested, Akash, Vishal, and Anand, claiming these confessions implicate Sonam directly.
Confessions from the alleged hitmen. That would be powerful if true and admissible.
Absolutely. And a special investigation team, an SIT, was formed to handle the probe. Sonam was brought back to Shillong from UP to be questioned as part of this ongoing investigation.
You know, the speed is quite remarkable. From Raj's body being found June 2nd, Sonam surfacing June 9th, and then these arrests. It seemed to come together quickly.
It was fast. The Meghalaya police wrapped up the initial phase, identifying suspects and making arrests, within about a week of Sonam reappearing. Even the chief minister, Conrad Sangma, praised the police for cracking the case so rapidly.
It highlights the complexity, too, crossing state lines, Multiple suspects.
For sure. The investigation stretched across Meghalaya, Assam, Uttar Pradesh. It involved drones, CCTV analysis, mobile tracking. Modern policing tools were key. They even tracked down another guide the couple had apparently hired at some point, Bahawansai. Every detail matters.
And that physical evidence, the dowel, the raincoat, those must be critical pieces.
Central pieces, you'd imagine. Forensics on those could be crucial in court.
This case clearly resonated far beyond Meghalaya.
Definitely. We saw MPs from Indore, Raja's hometown Shankar Lalwani, Sumer Singh Solanki actually traveling to Shillong to meet officials and sort of monitor the progress. It showed the national interest.
Was there concern locally about tourism? Meghalaya relies on that.
There was. The deputy CM, Prestone Tinsong, made public statements reassuring people that this was viewed as an isolated incident, not reflective of the state's safety, and that they'd act against anyone tarnishing Meghalaya's image.
Okay, back to the why. The motives. Police are leading towards the alleged affair and the missing gold.
Those seem to be the two primary pillars of their theory, yes. The love triangle with Raj Kushwaha and the potential lure of that 10 lakh rupees worth of gold.
Were there other whispers? Maybe about the marriage itself.
There were reports, mentioned in some sources, suggesting Sonam might have been unhappy in the arranged marriage. Things like her spending a lot of time on her phone, maybe hinting at communication with someone else, possibly Kushwaha. Details like that could bolster the idea she wanted out.
It's fascinating how public perceptions split so quickly.
Isn't it? You had these competing labels almost immediately. Was she a calculating black widow, or was she a vulnerable scapegoat being railroaded? People seemed to pick sides based on the limited information coming out.
And the media coverage was intense.
Huge. Honeymoon horror. Wife hires hitmen. Those kinds of headlines dominated. Social media exploded too, with everyone becoming an armchair detective trying to piece it together. You mentioned that user at the Matrix Loop laying out timelines. That was happening a lot.
Even celebrities got involved.
Yeah, Kangana Ranaut made some widely reported comments on social media calling Sonam dumb and the crime cruel and heinous, added another layer to the public conversation.
When you put this case alongside other major true crime cases in India,
It sadly fits a pattern, doesn't it? These stories that expose the darkest parts of human motivation, greed, jealousy, betrayal. And they capture the public imagination because we try to understand how someone could do something like that.
it also really showcases modern investigation techniques.
Absolutely. The drones finding the body in that terrain, the CCTV tracing movements across states, the mobile data analysis, technology played a massive role in how quickly the police felt they could piece together their version of events.
And beyond the crime itself, it touches on bigger themes.
For sure. You can't help but think about arranged marriages, the pressures involved, maybe unspoken unhappiness, and the question of what lengths someone might go to if they feel trapped or desperate. It forces you to look beyond the headlines.
So where does the case stand right now, based on the latest info around Juneteenth?
Okay, so Sonam and the four men Akash, Vishal, Anand, and Raj Kushwaha are all in custody. The SIT investigation is ongoing, presumably gathering more evidence, tying up loose ends.
Are police still looking for anyone else?
They have indicated they believe at least one more person might have been involved in the plot, so the search continues for that individual.
And what about the possibility of the CBI taking over?
That's been mentioned, yeah. Depending on how things unfold or if there's significant public demand, a transfer to the Central Bureau of Investigation could happen. It's still early days on that front, though.
So we have these two sides dug in. Raja's family seeking justice,
Believing he was brutally murdered in a planned conspiracy.
and Sonam's family insisting she's innocent.
Claiming she's a victim being framed.
It's all going to come down to the courts now.
Exactly. The legal process will have to sift through everything. The police evidence, the alleged confessions, Sonam's counter-narrative, witness accounts like the guides, the CCTV, the mobile data, and that crucial physical evidence, the weapon, the raincoat. The court will decide which story the evidence supports.
It's just such a tragic end for Raja Raghuvanshi. A life cut short right at the start of a marriage.
Incredibly tragic. And the story that's emerged is just so complex, so filled with alleged betrayal and these diametrically opposed accounts.
That central conflict is stark. Sonam saying she was abducted, police saying she orchestrated the whole thing with accomplices.
It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? How can two versions of the same event be so completely different? How do you reconcile that?
And what does it make you think about trust? Especially in a marriage, arranged or not.
Or about the secrets people might carry, the hidden pressures, the internal struggles that might be going on beneath the surface that we never see until something terrible happens. It's more than just a crime story. It's a deeply unsettling human drama.